Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 2nd of November and let's start with the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, in this particular video, we are going to take up entire analysis of Hindu. We'll take all articles along with the background as well as way forward. And I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this particular session from Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, let's start first of all with the overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually relevant in the today's newspaper. So here guys, you can see the Hindu newspaper. First article, first evacuees leave Gaza as Rafah crossing opens briefly. Then October gross GST collections climb to 1.72 lakh crore. Now, understand this particular thing. First of all, as this Israel Hamas issue is going on, one particular thing is that every day one article will be coming in here or in the world section. You are not required to track such everyday developments. However, when some article is coming which is talking about some geostrategic dimensions that we need to take, for example, today on Israel US, there is one full page article. We'll take that one. Then GST collections have increased and it stands around 1.72 crore, which shows a kind of a robust economic improvement. Okay. Then further moving on, UPSC tightens rules for appointment of state police chiefs. Now, guys, in this particular capacity, it has been provided. UPSC has come out with the amended guidelines, and it provides this particular thing that police officers with at least police officers with at least 6 months of service left before retirement will be considered for appointment of the post of the DGP, that is the Director General of Police. Okay, so this is something that has happened. Now, guys, in this capacity, why it is done? It is done so that there can be a stable tenure that can be provided. Okay, then moving on in the city section, we have these regional issues, ban on construction if severe air quality will last. Then, guys, we have these tenders, etc. And largely after that, we have political articles. Okay, so nothing much important has been given in this particular direction for our examination. So we will directly be moving on and will reach editorial. And in editorial, first article that we have, impacting a women's freedom to reproductive choices. We'll take this particular article and we'll see what important substance has been given here. Then on side, we have this article, malware malice. So guys, if you remember, yesterday we have taken one article from text and context. And actually what has happened, recently the members of opposition parties, they have said that their mobile phones are being spied by using Pegasus spyware. They said that they received a notification from Apple which said that there is a state sponsored surveillance that is being carried on their mobile phones. Okay, so this particular issue came. Now guys, what has happened? So it is now this particular article says that in a thriving democracy, such kind of surveillance on mobile phones of opposition parties is undemocratic. So therefore such things should not happen. Now it is giving the kind of a that particular kind of a detail. However, rather than going on in this article, yesterday we have discussed one very good article talking about Indian Telegraph Act, IT Act, that how surveillance is give surveillance powers are given, what Supreme Court has done in the past. Okay, if you have seen it, no need to go and track it. However, if you have not seen it, I will recommend you that please go and watch the yesterday's newspaper analysis, at least this particular article on state sponsored surveillance. Then guys, moving on, after that, we have here article virtues of planning. We'll take this entire article. Then we have article AI and the issue of human centricity in copyright law. This article also we are going to take. Then moving on, reconciliation offer retribution. Now, guys, again, this particular article is talking about Gaza and Israel, Gaza and Israel issue. Okay, and article says this particular thing that we see that so much of disproportionate attack are being carried. Now, guys, I have read this entire article, but for exam specific dimension, substance is not given, so I'll not advise you to go and devote too much of time in this. AIA DMK's minority outreach plan, political article, no need, not needed for examination. Parties unknown income rise despite electoral bonds. So here, different political parties, for example, BJP, Congress, Trinamool, BJD, from where their funding is coming. Those sources have been provided here. Find how much money is coming from donations, what are the type of sources, all such kind of a things. Then in text and context, we have this entire one-page article on US Israel relation. Now, because of this Hamas Israel war and support that have shown by US to Israel, this particular dimension becomes important for GS2. We'll see this particular article. Then further moving on in this direction, then on text and context, we have today bibliography article. This bibliography article here, they talk about premise from some of the books. So Palestinian writers and their encounters with life under occupation. Okay. Then moving on after that, Rajnath urges cookies, Metis to build trust through dialogue. Okay. Then basically House panel don't have criminal jurisdiction MP. So guys, this is Mahua Moitra's case. Yesterday we have seen that what incident has happened in this particular capacity, what is the role of ethics committee, parliamentary privileges committee. However, today the article does not contain much of substance. Okay. And not needed to go and follow it every day. Largely here, the political statements, political articles, political things have been there. Then we have assembly polls page 2023. Then guys, coming on here we have one article. In 53 accidents, 19 death per hour in road crashes in 2022. We'll see this particular article. A report by Ministry of Road Transports and Highway has been released. We'll take this article. India is proud to be biggest development partner. So three projects between India and Bangladesh have been inaugurated. We'll see that particular article as well. Fine. Then, guys, moving on. Bangladesh nominee defeats Nepal's in race for WHO regional post. So, guys, from last few days, this controversy was going on that who will be elected onto the regional director position of the WHO's Southeast Asia region, and nominees from Nepal and Bangladesh was contending, and Bangladesh's nominee has won in this election. Then on world page, Netanyahu promises victory despite painful loss in Gaza. So now ground invasion of Gaza has started by Israel. Biden selects Campbell as Deputy Secretary of State. Okay. Politicians, tech leader gather for UK's AI summit. Now, this article we will be taking for the examination. Okay, then we have all these tenders, etc. Then on business page, we have the PMI Purchasing Managers Index have slipped to 55.5 from 57.6. Now, I have told you this particular thing so many of the times, guys, that not it is not really needed that you track every 15 days, 30 days data that is changing, PMI data, GDP data, GST collection data, export import, current account deficit. Every month, these data's numbers will change. Okay, so no need to go and track it every day, because by the time your exam will come, it would be changed too much. Then after that, we have here the corporate trends, etc., that have been given. Then, guys, moving on in this particular direction, we have then sports page, and after the sports page, there is a science section that also comes, which we take, which contains some good articles. For example, yesterday also there was a good article that we have taken from there. Now let's see what is the article for today. Now, the today's article that we have: hemoglobin isn't used only in blood, scientists discover. So basically, guys, what has happened? Fang Zheng, a pathologist in China, have been working on the hemoglobins and have found basically hemoglobin is not only used by the red blood cells, but hemoglobin is also found into the uh, condo, uh, chondrocytes, okay, which make cartilage. Now, my point is that whether you need to read this article or not, now guys, understand this particular thing. When we talk about science and technology, we need to see new applications of science and technology or new inventions which might have some utility for daily for day to day life or into the science and technology in general. Now understand this thing: every research in biology, chemistry, every paper on theoretical physics that comes, you are not really required to analyze that, and you are not really required to track that. Now here, this particular founding, who has done the founding, what pattern, what methodology they have used, etc., is being given. Now, the article goes into the too much of deep nitty-gritties of biological sciences. So, such kind of things are not asked in UPSC examination, nor they are that much relevant. So, understand this thing, that as we have science page from Monday to Friday, there will be 2 3 days where the relevant articles for our examination will be coming. For example, few days back, we have seen that carbon nanofluorides were discovered, which have application in heating, in hospital appliances, etc. Now, these kind of things are something which are asked in examination. Okay, so this is about the newspaper. Now, guys, learning the art of skimming newspaper happens to be very important, because if you understand how to skim through the newspaper, you will not wasting up time in reading the unnecessary articles. Now let's 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 start with the articles one by one in detail. You can download the synoptic notes from our Telegram channel. So basically, guys, today we are going to take quotation from Mahatma Gandhi. So Gandhi ji says that rich must live more simply so that the poor may simply live. Rich must live more simply so that poor may simply live. Now, when we talk about rich people, now guys, often understand here. I just want to give you the reference of theory of trusteeship, and we will connect this particular idea with the theory of trusteeship. Now, Gandhiji provided that the people having wealth should not behave as owners of wealth. Rather, they should behave as a trustees of wealth, and they should consider that the wealth that they are having, it is with them in common trust, in public trust, and that particular wealth is to be used for upliftment of the poor people. Now, if rich people will not involve in indulgence, if rich people will not involve in ultra luxurious lifestyles, then that particular resource, that particular money can be used for giving the basic dignities of life to the poor people. So rich people should have a compassionate heart, and there is an adage which goes like this, that when you get more, rather than building the bigger fence, you should build a long table so that more people can eat on it, more people can dine on it. So rich people should live more simply, should just satiate their basic necessities, so that with excess wealth they can help poor people to fulfill their basic necessities of the life. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4 ethics, as well as in essay we can use this particular idea. GS paper number 4 ethics as well as essay, we can use this particular idea. Okay, now moving on, in this particular direction. Okay, so guys, I would like to tell you again that we are coming now with our GS4 ethics foundation batch, and this is batch 2. So after the success of batch 1, now we are coming out with the batch 2, and you will find the basic details about this particular batch here. So as we talk about this particular batch, this is going to be a comprehensive batch on ethics GS paper number 4. All the 8 units will be done. There will be a dedicated class on case studies that will be there, and in these particular classes special emphasis will be given on starting from special emphasis will be given on the advanced application of ethics, will be starting from basics, and then we'll move to the advanced, all the ethical concepts, theories, philosophies, keywords, administrative ethics, they will be comprehensively be dealt in this particular course, and every class will be supplemented with the crisp handouts which you can use. Okay, and then guys, there will be special emphasis on equating GS paper number 4 with contemporary examples and contemporary themes. PYQs will also be covered. Now this will be a recorded batch. I'm telling again. And this, the course fees is mentioned here, inclusive of all the taxes. You can join the course. The course is starting from 6th of November. Link for the course is given in description box as well as pinned comment. Moving on. Understanding the US-Israel relation. Understanding the US-Israel relation. Now, guys, as we talk about the USA Israel relation, they have come to a limelight because of Israel Hamas war that has got started. So, on 7th of October, what happened? 7th of October, what happened? Hamas carried an attack on Israel from the Gaza region. And in retaliation, now Israel has also opened up the attack on Hamas. In this particular direction, we have seen that USA has given unconditional support to Israel. USA has given unconditional support to Israel. Number one, we see this particular thing that US President Joe Biden has traveled to Israel, and there they have said that Hamas is unadulterated evil. Hamas is unadulterated evil. Entire blame they have put on Hamas. And now, as Israel is carrying the attacks, they have said that Israel is doing the right thing. Even the proportion of violence that is being used by Israel, that has not been criticized by USA. So US has given unconditional support. Moreover, guys, as this particular war got started in United Nations Security Council, there was a resolution. There was a resolution in United Nations Security Council that was raised, and the resolution was for imposing a humanitarian pause on Israel's attack. Now here USA used their veto power. Means USA said that no, there should be no pause on the attacks that are started with by the Israel. Then this particular matter came in United Nations General Assembly also. In UNGA also, USA supported that Israel should not stop the attacks on Hamas. Israel should continue the attacks on Hamas. Now, when we talk about the origin of USA-Israel ties, so origin of USA-Israel ties starts from the 1920s. 1920s. Let's understand this particular history little bit. So basically, guys, the most important landmark with the respect of creation of Israel state comes in 1917. 1917. So what happened in 1917? Balfour Declaration was declared. In this Balfour Declaration, what happened? British government, Britain, supported the idea of creation of a Jewish homeland in Palestine, Jewish homeland in Palestine, which was dominated by Arab. Britain supported the idea in 1970. Now, guys, after that, what happened? 2 years later, that is in 1919, USA President Woodrow Wilson also supported this particular idea that we are also supportive of creation of Israel as a state, Israel as a state for Jew people in Palestine. And officially in 1922 and 1944, US Congress passed the resolution also supporting the idea of supporting the Balfour Declaration, that is the creation of a Israel as a state. Now, guys, we find this particular thing. Israel as a state was formed in 1948, but for first 20 years, relation between USA and Israel were not that warm. Why they were not that warm? It was largely because of 1956. It was because of 1956 Suez War. So what happened in 1956? So in the Suez War of 1956, Israel occupied the territories of Egypt and Gaza. It occupied the territories of Egypt and Gaza Strip, and it was supported by Britain and France. Now, that particular action of Israel was not liked by the USA. But the situation or equation between USA and Israel started to change after the 1967 war or Six-Day War. Now, what actually happened in this 1967 war? So, in 1967 war, Israel single-handedly defeated Jordan, Syria, Egypt. Okay, all these countries were defeated in 6 days. Okay, now guys understand, and large territories were also captured by Israel. Now, why this becomes important? This was a time when USA was fighting or USA was involved in the Vietnam War, and USA was not finding any victory in Vietnam War. USA was a superpower and USA was struck in Vietnam War. Israel came out of a sudden, defeated all of them just in the 6 days, and took all their territories. So USA found that Israel is actually is a heavyweight country. Israel is a heavyweight country, and it started to look in a different way towards Israel. It started to look in a different way towards Israel. It found that Israel could be a reliable partner for its defense needs, defense needs. Okay, this is something that happened. Okay, also USA started to see Israel, that Israel could be a stable ally that can be used to check the expansion of Soviet Union in West Asia. Now you know this particular thing. Post 1945 Cold War started, and as this Cold War was going on, the world was divided in two camps, USA and USSR. Now USSR's influence was increasing in West Asian region. So who will check the Soviet Union? Who will keep the Soviet Union in control in this particular region? They wanted an ally, and Israel emerged as such stable and powerful ally. So post 1967 war, US's perception towards Israel, it started to change. And as we talk about today Israel and USA, they have a very deep relation, and they share relations on multiple fronts. For example, guys, when we talk about foreign aid that is given by USA, Israel has been one of the largest recipient of aid. Even now, around $3 billion of military aid is given by USA. And after World War II, around $158 billion aid has been given by USA to Israel. So it shows their special relation. Then after that, also USA and Israel has developed deep defense partnerships, and largely there is the joint research and development on defense weaponry that is taken by Israel and USA. Now, you might be knowing about the Iron Dome. You might have heard about the Iron Dome, which is Israel's missile defense shield. Now, Iron Dome of Israel uses many components that are actually built in the USA, and on the many of the advanced weaponry, both USA and Israel have done the joint have carried the joint development. Moreover, when we talk about the United Nations Security Council, you know that in United Nations Security Council, permanent five member, they have their veto. If any member will use the veto, nothing can be passed into the United Nations Security Council. Now, in the UNSC, for 50 around 50 times, USA has used their veto. USA has used their veto around 50 times in UNSC for the resolutions which were not in interest of Israel, or the resolution which were against the Israel. There USA has used their veto power and has saved the Israel. So here we see that so deep relation is there between these two countries. Then further, when we talk about USA and Israel, fine, it has been provided by USA that Israel has the right to defend, okay, defend their own territories, defend their people. And even this particular war that is right now going on, it is said that it is the extension of Israel's right to defend. They are just doing the attacks in the self defense. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that there have been personality clashes. For example, between the president of US and prime minister of Israel, there have been the personal clashes that have been there, but on the nation level, there shares a special relation. Now, a question comes that why does USA always support Israel? What is USA's interest in supporting Israel? Number one, Israel's strategic value in volatile West Asian region. Now, the West Asia region is volatile, but it is very much critical for USA's hegemony. So, therefore, USA needs an ally. And who is the most powerful country here? Israel. So, this is one reason. Then, guys, the second reason that has been there, that during the Cold War, Israel was a powerful bulwark against the Soviet expansion. Then third, guys, there is a very powerful Israeli lobby in the USA, which influences public opinion, and a large number of Jew population also is there in USA. So a powerful lobby in the terms of people, in terms of industrialists, in terms of businessmen is there in USA, which always supports the cause of Israel. And then even in the US Congress, now see, the Israel has a lot of support. So American Jews and evangelical Christians, okay, these are the two politically active groups in the USA. And they now, both the Democrats and Republicans, they need the support of these two groups. So even if there is a democratic government, even there is a government by a Republican party in USA, they will be supporting the Israel because of the Jewish political interest and Jewish powerful political lobby that exists. Okay, this is the reason that why there are the special relations. Fine. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. Fine. I hope that you have understood it. Now, moving on in this particular direction. Okay. Moving on in this particular direction. Okay. Virtues of planning. Virtues of planning. Blueprint to develop India by 2047 must factor in critical governance reforms. Now, just 2 3 days back, we have seen this particular article also. Now, what this particular article is all about? This article is about India 2047 blueprint document that will be released by the Prime Minister of India. Now, this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 3, economic development and planning. We'll see this particular article within GS paper number 3, economic development and planning. Planning. Okay. So basically, guys, when we talk about 5 year plans, when we talk about 5 year plans, so we had already suspended the ideas of 5 year plan after the 12th 5 year plan. After the 12th 5 year plan, now we don't come out with any plans. But now government has decided that government is going to come out with a long term agenda, that is agenda 2047. Now 2047 India will be 2047 will be 100th anniversary of India's independence, and by 2047 we aim to ensure that India becomes a $30 trillion economy. We aim that by 2047 India should become India should become? Okay, by 2047, India should become a $30 trillion economy. Okay. Moreover, we want this particular thing that by 2047, India should also break the middle income trap. Middle income trap. Now, what is middle income trap? The idea of middle income trap was given by World Bank in 2007, where World Bank provided this that many of the countries they have came out from low income group to middle income group, but they are unable to transition from middle income group to high income group. So basically, countries who have per capita income of less than $1,000, they come into the category of low income countries. Countries having per capita income between 1,000 to $12,000, these countries come into the middle income countries. And countries having the per capita income of $12,000 or more, okay, they come into the high income country. Now, many of the countries they have struck into this middle income trap. Okay, they are not able to come out with this middle income trap. Now India should not be trapped in this, and idea is that by 2047 India's per capita income should be in the range of 18 to $20,000 per capita, and for that long action plan, long horizon plan is needed, and prime minister will unveil this 2047 plan in the start of 2024. Now this particular plan is in making since last 2 years. Since last 2 years it is in making, and Niti Aayog is right now in the process to give final touch up to this 2047 document, and Niti Aayog is running this particular plan with industrialists, with business tycoons. For example, it is running up this particular plan with the World Bank president Mr. Ajay Banga, Apple chief Tim Cook. It is running the plan with the Indian industrialists to ensure that there are no blind spots, or if there are certain areas which we have not factored in, these particular things should be factored. So after this, it will be unveiled in 2024. Now, when we talk about India, India has scaled economically post 1991 LPG reforms. So when we talk about 1991, India's share in global economy was around 1.1%. India's share in global economy was around 1.1%. So, uh, in, uh, but today we find this thing that India's GDP is around 3.5% of global economy. And today India is world's fifth largest economy. India's fifth largest economy. But at the same time, there are many issues that are there. For example, guys, that India's manufacturing sector has still not become mature. Make in India aimed to bring the contribution of manufacturing sector equivalent to 25% of our GDP, but that has not happened till now. So in India, manufacturing sector has not grown. We find this particular thing that the growth rate, the growth that has come, it has not been inclusive for a very long period of time. Jobless growth was also seen in the context of India. Jobless growth was seen into the context of India. So how all these particular things could be balanced for that particular thing? This 2047 action plan will come. Moreover, this particular action plan will also ensure that government should become enabler rather than a micromanager. Government should become enabler rather than a micromanager. Now, see, basically, it is provided that government should steer rather than rowing. Government should become steerer rather than the rower. Now, what is the steering and rowing? Suppose you are sitting on a boat. In the boat, you will row. You will you will row by using these pedals. So that is rowing. Steering means just to give the direction. Steering means just to give the direction. So the idea of new public management that has emerged post 1980s, it provides government should play the minimal role. Earlier concepts of license, quota, government raj, etc. should not be there. So how government's role can be minimized? This particular thing should be focused. However, in the recent times, there have been certain controversies also which says that rather than government minimizing its role, government is expanding its role. For example, recently this import licensing, where government has said that if anybody wants to import the laptops, PCs, tablets, they need to take a special importer's license. Okay, overzealous taxation. Okay, production linked incentive scheme where government is incentivizing the manufacturers to open the facilities. So it shows that government is present largely, still present largely. So this is something that has come. And as 5 year plans have a horizon of 5 year, 2047 is a grand plan, but implementation is going to be very important. So this is guys all about this particular article that has come. Now I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to next article. India is proud to be the biggest development partner of Bangladesh Prime Minister. So basically, guys, recently what has happened, Prime Minister of India and Bangladesh, they have inaugurated three projects in a joint virtual launch. In a virtual launch, three projects have been launched by India and Bangladesh. Okay. Now, what are these three projects that have been launched? That is something that we need to see in this particular article. So basically, guys, India and Bangladesh, they have come out with Akhora Agartala rail link. Okay, Akhora Agartala rail link. So basically, guys, here you can see this particular map. So this is a 15-kilometer rail link. This is a 15-kilometer rail link connecting the Akhora in Bangladesh with the Agartala in Tripura. Agartala in Tripura. So here we can see that the Bangladesh and India via Tripura, Agartala have been connected. Now, guys, by this particular thing, what can happen? Northeastern region can also get the access to sea, can get the access to Bay of Bengal through the Bangladesh region. Okay. Moreover, when we talk about India's Act East policy. In the India's Act East policy, India aims to integrate the northeastern region with the South Asia and Southeast Asia. So, as here the sea connectivity can be given, it is going to be a very important, important milestone. Then, guys, after that, the second project that has been launched is Khulna Mongla Port Rail Line. Now, Khulna happens to be one of the biggest city of Bangladesh, and Khulna is connected with the Mongla port. So 65-kilometer broad gauge line, 65-kilometer broad broad gauge line is connected to connect the city of Khulna with the Mongla port, and it is being sponsored by India. And then Unit 2 of the Matri Super Thermal Power Project has also been launched. Okay, so Matri Super Thermal Power Projects Unit 2 has been launched, in which also India has supported. So these are the three projects that have been launched. And guys, if in the examination, if in the examination the question is coming about the India Bangladesh relation, you can mention about these particular projects that have been taken up. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. And now moving to the next article. 53 accidents, 19 deaths per hour in road crashes in 2022, says ministry. So basically, this article will see with respect to GS paper number 3, infrastructure and related issues. Now, guys, when we talk about the roads, okay, understand this particular thing. Because of the unsafe roads, large number of people die in road accidents. And according to Mr. Gadkari ji, it is provided that India is losing 1.7 lakh people every year in road accidents, and this is the rich demographic dividend that India is losing. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that according to a report that has been released by Ministry of Road Transport and Highway, they say 53 accidents and 19 people die every hour in the road accidents. 53 accidents happen every hour, and in these 53 accidents, 19 people die every hour in road accidents in India. And around 1.68 lakh people died in road accidents in 2022. So we find this particular thing that in India, over the last few years, there has been the rapid expansion of roadways, highways, ownership of vehicles in terms of two-wheelers, four-wheelers, three-wheelers, etc. But what has happened? India has not been very much effective to make the roads more safe, and even the severity of crashes have worsened over the past one decade, over the past 10 years. Now, during the COVID years, that is 2020, 2021, road accidents came down, but it is because of the lockdown that was going on. But apart from that, every year the road fatalities have increased. Okay, and as per the latest data, 1.68 lakh people have died in 2020 as per the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway. Now, it provides this particular thing that India needs. improved trauma care along with the highways. India needs to ensure the India needs to ensure that traffic control, traffic management is to be done. Moreover, according to Save Life Foundation, India is in the 20 worst countries for the road accidents. For the road accidents. And guys, as we talk about the large number of road accidents, they happen on national and state highways. Now, national and state highways, they constitute only 4.9% of the total road network. Okay, so just keep it in mind that national and state highways only constitute 4.9% of the road network, but it witnessed 56% of the road crashes and 61% of all the road crash fatalities. Okay, so 61% of the death, 56% of the accidents, they are happening on these 4.9% of the roads. So India needs to take steps to make them safe. Okay. Now, moving to the next article, impacting a women's freedom to reproduction choices. Now, we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, issues related to fundamental rights, particularly the rights related to bodily autonomy. Rights related to bodily autonomy. And even in GS paper number 4, GS paper number 4, issues of medical ethics. Issues of medical ethics, we can take this particular issue. Now, first of all, before going on in this particular article, let's take some of the basic information that will be important for you to understand. So, basically, what happened, even we have seen this article earlier also. Recently, a 26-week pregnant woman, okay, first of all, even before going in that, let me give you some basic background information. So, in India, the matters related to abortion are dealt under Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. And MTP Act 1971 provides that a woman, both married and unmarried, can abort the pregnancy till 20 weeks, till 20 weeks on the basis of one registered medical practitioner. Registered medical practitioner means who is a registered doctor. On the advice of one doctor, one registered medical practitioner, a woman can abort the pregnancy. However, in the 20 to 24-week period, women can abort pregnancy on the basis of advice of the two registered medical practitioner, two doctors' advice. If they give, then the women can abort a pregnancy. However, after 24 weeks, a woman can abort the pregnancy only if continuing the pregnancy will lead to some enormous danger to the life of women, or child that will be born will have severe abnormalities of child, or child has certain disease by which the child will not be able to live a healthy life. Only in that capacity, after 24 weeks, pregnancy can be aborted. And for that, the approval of a medical board will be needed. Approval of a medical board will be needed. Now, what happened? One of a married women approached Supreme Court. She said that I am married. I already have two children, and I don't want to continue the pregnancy in case of this third child. She says that I am suffering from postpartum depression. Okay, also my mental health, my ec- economic well-being is not capable enough to support this particular child, and she wanted to seek permission from Supreme Court to abort the pregnancy. Now, what happened? Supreme Court denied permission to this woman. Supreme Court denied permission to this particular women. Why Supreme Court denied permission? Supreme Court said this particular thing, that when we read MTP Act of uh, just a minute, guys. One thing, MTP Act 1971 has been amended in 2021. Has been amended in 2021. So MTP Act is originally came in 1971. It got amended in 2021. So what provisions that I told you here? 20 week, 20 to 24 week. It is as per the latest amendment. It is as per the latest amendment, MTP 2021. Okay. Now, Supreme Court provided this particular thing, that okay, one thing, guys, here they have mentioned MTP Act of 1971, but you please don't be confused. In editorial, I have taken this. In editorial, they mentioned 1971, but you should not get confused. 1971 Act had got amended recently, so it is post 2021 amendment. So Supreme Court provided this particular thing, that if pregnancy after 24 weeks is to be terminated, then either there to be substantial abnormality in the fetus, or women's life should be under the threat. Women's life should be under the threat. In this case, neither the fetus has some abnormality. It was observed that the fetus was growing healthily. Guys, I hope that the voice is clear to everyone. Okay, so fetus was growing healthily. There is no problem in fetus. Second, even continuation of pregnancy did not pose any danger to the health of the women. Continuation of pregnancy did not pose any danger to the health of the women. So Supreme Court said that we cannot be blind to the right of the unborn child. We cannot be blind to the rights of the unborn child, and we cannot give you permission to abort the pregnancy. Now, it has also provided by the court that the fetus has become viable. Fetus has become viable. Now, what is fetus becoming viable? Just a minute. Okay. Fetus becoming viable means that fetus can survive outside the women's body also on medical aid. So Supreme Court said that we cannot deny rights to this particular fetus. Supreme Court denied it. Now article says that this particular judgment suffers from two problems. There are the two errors in this particular judgment. Two of the errors are there in this particular judgment. First error comes from this particular thing, that courts failed to ask as what ought to be. Okay, certain crucial questions Supreme Court has not addressed. Now, what crucial questions Supreme Court has not addressed? Number one, does a fetus enjoy an autonomous moral status? Is that unborn child has an independent moral status? Is that child a person in itself? Yes or no? Further, does it have a legal standing? This unborn child, will it be considered a legal person who will have all the rights and all such kind of a things? Is it capable of exercising constitutional rights? If you are giving this right, other rights will also be there. Is it exercising of constitutional rights? Yes or no? Supreme Court did not discuss all these particular questions in detail, but gave more importance to the right of the unborn child. It means it has given more importance to right of unborn child and has given less importance to the right of this pregnant women. So rights of fetus, they have been given more importance, or they have been placed at a pedestal above, at a level above than the rights of a pregnant women. Right of her privacy, right of women's dignity has been given less importance, and the right of unborn fetus have been given more importance, but it did not discuss that what is the status of this fetus. Is it an autonomous person? Is the fetus autonomous? Does the fetus has autonomous moral status? Does the fetus have any legal standing? Does the fetus, what are range of rights that are available to the fetus? Did not discuss those particular questions. After that, it has also been provided. After that, it has also been provided. Okay. Now see this particular thing. MTP Act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, gave the right to women, to abort the pregnancy. Secondly, now as the right to abort pregnancy is given to the women, what is the nature of this particular right? Is it a fundamental right? Is it just a legal right or something else? Now Supreme Court in past on multiple occasions have held this particular thing, that right to freely make reproductive choices is fundamental. Right to freely make reproductive choices is fundamental. So if to make reproductive choices is a fundamental right, why abortion is not a fundamental right? If abortion is not a fundamental right, why abortion is not a fundamental right? And if you say abortion is a fundamental right, then here fundamental right of that women has been negated. What is the status? Such clarity has not been given by Supreme Court. Such clarity has not been given by Supreme Court. Now in the last year, in one of a judgment, that is X versus Government of Delhi, Supreme Court said this particular thing, that now Supreme Court repeated the Puttaswamy judgment, which actually gave the right to privacy. And Supreme Court said that as a part of right to privacy, which is in itself the part of Article 21, individuals have right to exercise autonomy over their body, their mind, and women have a complete freedom to make reproductive choices. Women have a complete freedom to make reproductive choices. So if women have a complete freedom to make reproductive choices, as said by Supreme Court in the X versus Government of NCT, why women was denied abortion in this particular case? So these particular things have not been addressed by Supreme Court. So this is about this particular article. Fine. Guys, I hope that you have understood all these particular developments. Now, moving on in this particular direction, now moving in this particular direction, and let's take the next article. Artificial intelligence and the issue of human centricity in copyright law. Now we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3, scope of intellectual property rights. AI, artificial intelligence, AI's regulation, IPR regime. There we'll take this particular article. Now, let's understand first of all the basic background of this particular article. Basic background of this particular article. So basically, guys, now artificial intelligence has become a very big phenomena. Artificial intelligence has become a big phenomena. And particularly when we talk about artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, such as Chat GPT, Mid Journey, they have become so much rampant nowadays. What is generative AI? Generative AI is one which can generate a text, a photograph on the basis of the prompt that is given by you. For example, I open Chat GPT and I give a command. I give a prompt to Chat GPT saying that please write a poem. Please write a poem on rain in 50 words. I gave this prompt and Chat GPT will give me a poem on rain in 50 words. Okay. Similarly, there are platforms such as Mid Journey. You can go on Mid Journey and can give a command. For example, give me a photograph of dog sitting on moon. It will give you that. It will make that particular photograph and will give you. Okay. You can give this Mid Journey platform any command and it will give you an artistic work, a painting, a photograph. It will make by its algorithm. AI will make this particular artwork. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that as these artificial intelligence is working, how it is working. In the past, it has been trained on data sets. For example, Chat GPT, it has been trained on huge data. From that particular data, it is now reproducing. Basically, it has been trained on the data. And after learning the patterns out of that particular data, now generative AI works. Okay. For example, you are giving a command to Mid Journey that make a painting of horses. Make a painting of horses. Now, if you say that make the painting of horses, now there is the possibility that that painting could be inspired by the art of other painters. For example, this painting could be inspired by the art of MF Hussain, art of Picasso, art of other painters. So this particular work becomes inspired. This work becomes inspired. And many of authors, painters, artists, they say that Chat GPT is actually making work which is inspired from our work, which is inspired from our work. And it is a copyright infringement. It is infringement of our intellectual property rights. This particular thing is coming again and again. Now, guys, to regulate AI, recently what has happened in USA, to regulate AI, US president has issued an executive order in the USA on safe, secure and trustworthy AI. Trustworthy AI. Okay. Now, I told you already that in intellectual property rights regime, there are many challenges that have been raised on AI. Now, basically, guys, this particular article is mentioning or talking about one of a judgment in the context of AI. And this judgment is Stephen Thaler versus Shira Perlmutter case. Now, what is this particular judgment? So, Mr. Thaler actually owned an artificial intelligence system, creativity machine, and he gave the command to this creativity machine, and it created a piece of visual art. It created a piece of visual art. Then Mr. Thaler applied for the copyright of this visual art. Applied for the copyright of this particular visual art. Now, this copyright was rejected. Copyright was rejected on the ground that the work lacked human authorship. Work lacked human authorship. They said that this work is not human work. It is the work made by a machine, made by an algorithm. It was denied. It was denied. Then, guys, when we come to India, actually what happened in 2020, Indian Copyright Office registered registered an art piece by the name of Suryast. Now, this art piece Suryast was made by AI system, that is Raghav Artificial Intelligence Painting App. The Suryast was made by Raghav AI Painting App, and this artwork was registered. Now, can you see In USA, copyright made by AI was rejected, but in India, and a painting made by AI, it was given a copyright. It was given a copyright. Now, if we read the Copyright Act of India, that is Copyright Act of 1957, Copyright Act of 1957. In the Copyright Act of 1957, is there any provision that AI made works can be registered? No, there is no such kind of a thing. Copyright Office of India ignored human authorship requirement. Okay. Now, article says this particular thing, guys, that in the past, there was 161 report of the department related parliamentary standing committee on AI. And it talked about the review of the intellectual property rights regime in India. Now, article says this particular thing that now, as many new technological changes, technological evolution, such as in the field of AI is coming, we need to review our Copyright Act and we need to make it in sync with the present time. And we need to decide on these particular matter, whether human authorship is something which is to be seen or can be negated by AI, etc. So we need to revise it. This is about all this particular article. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. And now moving to the next article, politicians, tech leaders gather for UK's AI summit. So on AI, guys, there are two developments that have happened. If you remember, just 2-3 days back, we have seen that USA passed an executive order on regulation of AI. And now in UK, AI summit is getting held. Now, just only the highlighted portion is something that you need to see. Now, as we talk about this UK's AI summit, UK's AI summit, it aims to build the framework to mitigate the risks of AI while maximizing its potential. Now, AI has become as a double-edged sword. On one end, AI can be used to reap a lot of benefits. Okay, it can bring a lot of efficiency, but then the harms of AI are also there. For example, in copyright law, the AI is often working, yeah, the AI work is inspired by the work of other artists, and these artists don't get any recognition. So, how AI risk can be minimized and how its benefits can be maximized, this will be the theme of this AI summit, which is being hosted by UK. UK. Now, it is provided this particular thing that we need to address these risks. We need to address these risks and we need to safely unlock the extraordinary opportunities of AI. And India is also participating in this summit. India is also participating in this particular summit. And Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology has provided this thing that government of India has maintained that international conversations on AI are extremely important and government needs to come out with a framework for the regulation of AI. Now, actually here very good example has been given. Actually a very good comparison has been made. Now, what is this particular comparison? See, in the last 10 to 15 years, government have learned that by allowing innovation to outpace regulation, we open ourselves to toxicity. Now listen this thing. What happened? Internet evolved in last 20-25 years. Cryptocurrencies evolved in last 5-7 years. We did not regulated them before time. We did not regulated them before time. And today they are posing many of the dangers. Cyber attacks, okay, cyber attacks are there. Then bitcoins or cryptocurrencies are being used in terror funding, money laundering, etc. So as technologies have evolved and we have not regulated them properly, many dangers have opened up. So now as AI is evolving, we need to bring a check before it grows to such a level that controlling it becomes more problematic. So before time, we need to make the preemptive steps. So all these particular things are there. Fine. Then main practice question for today. So question reads, implementation and the use of AI without the necessary safeguards can have enormous implication for the future of humanity. In this context, discuss the efforts taken by Indian government. Fine. GS paper number 3. Okay. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to this particular session. Okay. Guys, if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel. And you please leave your lovely comments. I read every single comment every day and it really feels good to see such good comments. Thank you so much.